Here is El Masri. He gets it back for Darren Smith. Sweeney's outnumbered. They'll score. Over on the extreme eastern side of the ground.
Neil Sweeney will be praying that Hazem El Masri misses this kick.
25,000 people palpitate.
It's a big moment.
The climax to a supreme game of rugby league. El Masri trailing by 1 to win it. He's got it away. It has got there. He has kicked it. They have won it. 16 consecutive, 22-21.
Hello and welcome to Turn It Up. The great Hazem El Masri. If I knew that was going to be on, you wouldn't have come on, Hazem. Thanks for coming in, mate.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
You didn't start rugby league till you're 17. How and why did you have to wait that long?
Look, I arrived in Australia at the age of 12, played soccer in Lebanon. So parents said, "No, just continue playing soccer," you know. And, you know, my dad used to call the rugby league as in two bulls going at it. And he's like, you know, I mean, it's not your game, mate, you know. So stick to soccer. That's what you know best. And I took a lot of convincing from, you know, a friend of mine I went to school with. His mother come around and, you know, spoke to my mum and she said, "I'll treat him like my own kid. I'll pick him up. I'll drop him off. Please let him play," you know. And then my mum agreed and went from there.
Hazem, you're one of the first Muslims to play the game, probably one of the first from Lebanon or outside of Australia. Multicultural round this week. How proud of you, how proud of the game are you in today's climate?
Yeah, look, it's very important to recognise Multicultural Day, and especially in such a diversity, you know, in our game. I still remember the days I was actually on the hill watching one of the first Multicultural Days the Bulldogs introduced through Lynn Anderson and all that. I think 1993 we played Parramatta, 27,000 people in actually Belmore Sports Ground. I don't know how they fit that in there, but it was actually fantastic. They blocked people from going in because it was that full, and what an atmosphere that was that day. We ended up obviously putting a fair bit of score on Parramatta that day, which is always a positive.
Mate, multicultural round, part of that is about, you know, understanding people's cultures. Now, part of yours is Ramadan. Yep. And you go through a period of the year where you basically don't eat or drink during the daylight hours. And, you know, Payne Haas, has it just finished?
Just finished, yep.
It's just finished. Now, what's it like? What's it like training and playing while during Ramadan you can't eat?
Other than training and all that, there's always a purpose and wisdom behind it. Obviously, it's sacrifice. It's a month of worship. It's a month of, you know, looking after the poor. It's a month of cleansing yourself, above all. It is extremely difficult during the time when we're training, especially, as I said, mid-summer, mid-December. I'd be training and, you know, sometimes 35, 38 degrees heat, and we're actually doing sprints on the rubber mat, so you feel like you were getting baked from top and bottom. Look, the first couple of years I didn't say anything, but I was struggling, to be honest, especially in a full time. We train early in the morning, and back then 16 to 17 hours fast. So I'd actually finish training about 12 or 1 o'clock, and I'm just suffering for the next six to 7 hours. Can't go to sleep, dry lips, and all that. But again, look, once you know the wisdom and the reason behind it, it just makes you stronger and all that, you know. So,
Hazem, you played in some pretty formidable Bulldogs football sides. There was a period there, sort of late 90s, all the way through to mid-2000s. You guys are like the benchmark of the competition. What have you made of this current crop playing in 2025?
Yeah, look, I described them, I had a question like that before, and I described them like the 2001 when we were rebuilding. We had guys like Braith and Sherwin coming through, William Mason, you know, made Utah the year after that. So we had a good crop of juniors coming through, and we reaped the rewards of that in 2004. Obviously, we got close in 02, Salary Cap Dramas, and in 03 we lost in the prelim against the Roosters. But then 2004 had guys like Roy Asatasi. We actually bought Marco Emile, which made significance in our forward pack as well. So you know, that crop now reminds you of the 2001 building. So you never know what it is ahead. I think in the next hopefully couple of years we'll definitely challenge for another title.
Your goal kicking was exceptional. When you played for New South Wales, you nailed 3 from 3. And there was a piece of commentary from the great Ray Warren, which you really enjoy. Can you take us through that?
Yeah, look, after watching the game, I think I had my first kick, been nervous already in playing my first Origin at the age of 31 debut in Lang Park against these guys, and I think I looked across and I was marking GI. This is brilliant, and I've only won about 6 or 7 in a row that time, and then luckily for me, and GI got injured, and then I had Bowen. Then I'm like, even better. But and then Jared Haynes scores in the corner and the first kick straight from the sideline, but look. I nailed it, and I think that time, Ray Warren said something like, people of all religions will be praying for him for that kick to go over, which is, again, it's just fantastic. And for me, it's always been about not differentiating between anybody, just being myself, Queenslanders made me actually feel very welcomed that time. I didn't get as much boo, and every time I did something good, they actually turned around. I had my wife and my brothers and my brother all flown over, and they'll turn around and go, he did something good, that's good. That's good. So I was actually, I was pretty happy with that,
Do you see the game as a great leveller? Rich, poor, doesn't matter which religion, what country you're born in?
Absolutely. I mean, it gives people an opportunity and a chance. So it doesn't matter who you are, you come from a disadvantaged background or whatever. Sometimes it can actually, like you're saying, level you and get you on the right track with the right amount of training, the right amount of people, the coaching and everybody. Honestly, it just puts you back on track. And I don't want to jinx anything, but thank God we haven't had major incidents now with the NRL for quite a while now. So there was a time there that it just kept going every year or second year, some drunken thing or some whatever it is. So it's been quite well for now.
Now, I had an amazing experience. I coached Lebanon, and we got in amongst the community and sort of, whether it's lunches and dinners and they go hard, they party, they're very dramatic, everything, What was it like? You're the only Lebanese, especially Muslim, playing rugby league, and you're living in the middle of it. What's that?
Absolutely. Look, again, it feels like a bubble. Like everywhere you went, you go to the butcher and they're like hello, and they tell you about their game. You go to the grocery shop, you go anywhere else. So it was actually pretty hard for me. I'd send my wife and all that to do all these chores and that. But look, when times are going well, they're fantastic and they get behind you and they tell you all these things. But when times are going tough, trust me, that lets you know. I mean, sometimes you just want to stay in your car and wind the window up. Quick story though. So 2004, we made the grand final. We beat Penrith that time. Scored 22 points, 3 tries, 5 goals. Should be on top of the world, going to a grand final. I missed 3 goals that day. It was very disappointing. I was disappointed in myself. So I was sitting in the back of the bus and I'm just sitting there like that. We arrived at the Leagues Club and just people were everywhere. Our fans are everywhere, knocking on the bus. And then I hear just a poof, 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 you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. And then and I look down and this guy looked at me and he goes, 3 kicks. What? With his face is saying, mate, he's like, 3. What happened?
It wasn't Conafrura. It's not Conafrura.
I've gone. I've gone to myself. I just got 22 points, mate. It's playing on my head. I don't need that right now. So, but look, they're just passionate about their footy, mate.
What about the Bulldogs as a club recently been inducted into the Bulldogs Hall of Fame? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, look, for a kid that arrived late, or not arrived to Australia at the age of 12, took up rugby league late at the age of 17, went to 5 minutes away, Belmore High School, used to go and watch the games at Belmore all the time, from under 21s to reserve grade. And, when I finished my soccer game, take my friends in there. Up on the hill, I sat a lot with my school friends. It's a proud moment. Even after back then, we used to jump on the field as well. So you jump on the field, you smell that, that smell of the grass and the deep hit and all that, and you want to be part of it. You kick a goal, or you do some bombs, and you're trying to imitate exactly what these, Bulldogs players or players in general. So to be able to sort of be in that position now and being inducted, it's really like, it's probably sinking in slowly, but it's a massive achievement for myself and the local community and any kid out there that's actually, striving to do these things. Your dreams can come true.
You're one of the greatest goal kickers our game has seen, outside of that one against Joey's Knights. Have you got a favourite kick? Like a big kick, a pressure kick?
Yeah, look, it's probably two of them. The grand final one, I missed one before that, and I nailed one from the sideline. And probably the Sharks one is one of my favourite because you know, the amount of wind, you know, it was just, it was.
Oh, that one.
Bent
Bennett, there it is there.
Yeah, so I
Bend it like Hazem.
There was a day at Penrith where the wind was unbelievable.
There was another one too, obviously.
You hit 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And you shaped them all different ways. I remember I was sitting there and Gus was commenting, and you were hitting them low, hitting them high, into the wind.
Look,
that was incredible.
You know, obviously being a guy, you've got to adapt sometimes. Sometimes you overcompensate and you miss, you know, many of the players on your head, and sometimes you go, no, let me adjust a bit. You know, that Newcastle kick, for example, I adjusted thanks to Joey. He probably doesn't know that, but he had the similar kick first half. So I was watching what he does, and I thought he gave it too much to the right, and it came back really sharp, and it just missed. And I was like, okay, I'll put that in the bank. So if I get a similar kick,
always my fault.
So what you're saying, Joey missed and you got it.
What about when this bloke? What about when this bloke overtook you for those points? Filthy.
Look, no. It was, oh, no, you probably felt the same. Oh, no, if it took years.
No, I'd run enough stuff. Anyway.
Look, I've always said that. When I retired, I think I had an interview and I said, look, records are always meant to be broken, and there's going to come a time where things like that are going to happen.
Oh, look at you, the boys. They're smashing 2 minutes.
We had to come up with something there.
Now, do you think someone can get Cameron?
Oh, yeah. Look, eventually they will. You know, I mean, what Cameron has achieved, especially the games, 400 and something, 30 games, man, that's just enormous. You know what I mean? They're never happy. And look at him, he's just standing there without a wheelchair. So, but look, again, I always say records are always meant to be broken. Somehow you get one bloke that will have, you know, good, nice 15 years, kicking from the beginning to the end, and you know, been in a position to score tries, and it'll definitely happen. You know, so. But a long time. It'll be a long time.
The Bankstown and Belmore area, big Lebanese community. How do we get more of these Lebanese boys and girls playing rugby league?
Look, I think we have to go deep in the junior system, trying to sort of promote the game a lot more. I know we did that for a long time when we were at the Bulldogs. That's one of
Promote the game how?
Sending players out there as much as we can, you know what I mean?
Schools.
Even ex-players. I'd love to see more ex-players actually that retired have a role to be able to sort of go coach these type of players. For a long time there, we probably struggled to get halves and 5'8", like everybody's seen. So by sending someone, you know, influential and know what they're talking about, they can coach their coaches to coach the kids, because at the moment you get a lot of volunteers, you got a lot of parents that actually go, and because their kid is playing, so they want to help out, but they don't know much about footy. So I think going back to the fundamentals, you know, and just hit it where it needs to be hit.
Would you like to be the figurehead of that around the Belmore and Bankstown area, actually going to the schools and encourage these?
I'd love to.
Kids?
I'd love to see something like that happen. You know, where it'd be like a nice committee, and just certain you know, certain ex-players can go, not just in the Canterbury Bankstown area. I think we just needed everywhere. You know, I mean, the Blacktown area and all that, it's just so diverse, and so much players come through that system over there. So obviously the Illawarra areas and all that, so they're rich with the right talent. I think we just need to keep working on them and keeping them in our game, and improve their pretty much their skill.
So one thing you were talking about off air was that you actually came through touch footy.
Yeah.
So how important is touch footy when you talk about areas like Blacktown, Bankstown? How important is touch footy?
I think, look, touch footy, Oztag, all these games now, they actually have been played by both, you know, men and women. I remember when during the off-season, I'd go and play a bit of Oztag or touch footy, because it just, you know, it gives you that little bit of spring in your step, being able to sort of, I guess, show your skill, or work on your skills a little bit more with players that haven't played, obviously first got in. It just, you know, gives you a bit of a sharpness to that. And I think these games are growing. In particular, I think the Oztag.
Devout Muslim, obviously, never touched alcohol. How did you go playing with Willie Mason?
Yeah, actually, Willie's one of my favourites, to be honest with you. He's loud and full of comedy and full of jokes and that, but he's so respectful, you know. And
he was respectful.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember one time he said something as a joke, and you know, it was funny. But then I walked up to him later and I said, really, you can't say these things because it's actually offensive. I know you didn't know, but it's like, and mate, he said, I'm sorry, I'm really, I am. I didn't know. I said, no, that's okay, just for next time. And, majority of my teammates were like that. They were very supportive. Come Ramadan, as I said, they were supportive. Come, different times, we went through a tough time there as being a Lebanese Muslim from September 11 to Bali bombings to the Cronulla riots. It was so difficult, but honestly, I remember with 9/11, I had one of the guys come up and he said, when I walked in, he goes, don't even explain to us. We know what you like. We know what... We can see the religion, the Islamic religion through you, and don't even explain to us. We know these are just, individuals that go outside the religion and do these things. So the support was always there for me from my players,
Another player that's also a Muslim is Sonny Bill.
Yep.
Now, you saw him at the start. He obviously went down a different path to you. But how have you seen his career and the way he's gone through life?
Oh, look, I love what Sonny's doing at the moment. He stands up for justice, which is very important, especially what's happening in Palestine at the moment. It's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and when you do, it's either you're shunned or you got demoted. So what he's doing at the moment, especially how he's trying to sort of spread everything, and I think in a way what I love about what he's doing is that he's giving you the examples, he's giving you what Islam is really about, and it's up to you then to make a judgment and say, okay, it could be this or it could be that, but in saying that, you go and you research. It just gives you that key to be able to go and research and see what exactly it's all about, instead of just listening to certain individuals and the misconceptions and people that don't have the knowledge, but just hear and then just say, oh, this is what Islam is about. There's a difference between Muslims and Islam. You know what I mean? You can't judge the Islamic religion upon some of the Muslims because we don't all get it right? So.
Now, you're going to stick around for the pass-off, but you've brought in a gift for us all to
yeah, like just some
tell us what it is.
handmade, we call it ma'mool. So after Ramadan, we obviously have a bit of a Eid, which is like a full festival and food and all that. And the wife made these. These are traditional Palestinian ma'mool, made from dates and cinnamon. And
Love dates.
They're also nice and healthy.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming in, Haz. And you're going to stay around for the pass-off.
Yep,
How they taste, boys? All good. Well, stick with us after the break. We're going to Hazem on the pass-off and more of the Sunday Footy Show.